Let us take question number 1. In question number 1, there is a shaft which is having diameter capital D. Here, the shaft is subjected to a twisting moment capital T, as well as a bending moment capital M. The magnitude of twisting moment is given, the magnitude of bending moment is also given. It's a 50 Newton meter, and this is a 120 Newton meter. So keep it in mind, the twisting moment representation should be in semi-elliptical shape, whereas the bending moment representation should be in semicircular shape. Generally, this is the usual representation. Bending moment is perpendicular to the longitudinal axis, whereas the twisting moment is above the longitudinal axis. In another way also we can describe. If you look at from the side view, cross section of the shaft will be visible. The bending couple is a perpendicular to the cross section of the shaft, as well as the twisting couple is a parallel to the cross section of the shaft. So this is the basic difference between bending moment and twisting moment. And this bending moment, twisting moment acting on the shaft simultaneously, means at the same time. In this question, we need to calculate equivalent bending moment. Equivalent bending moment. Before going to calculate equivalent bending moment, initially you need to know what is the basic definition of equivalent bending moment. Definition you need to know. I am going to discuss right now. So, because of this loading, the shaft is subjected to several stresses. If it is only subjected to bending moment, then directly we can apply bending moment equation, because that will be the case of pure bending. If the shaft is only subjected to twisting moment, then that will be the case of pure torsion. There you can apply turning moment equation. But here, both the twisting moment as well as the bending moment applied. So we need to take a shear stress distribution of because of the torque, as well as bending stress distribution because of the bending moment. Thereafter, you need to draw the state of stress. Then you need to calculate the principal stresses. Let us say, for this loading diagram, I calculated the principal stress. I got sigma 1. It is some magnitude. Sigma 1. It's the same shaft I considered with the diameter D. But for this shaft, it is only subjected to a bending moment with a magnitude of mv, such that because of this only bending moment, here also the shaft should be subjected to same major principal stress. Same. Then only we can call it as this shaft as equivalent shaft. And this can be called as equivalent bending moment. Again I am telling, because of this loading diagram, whatever the maximum stress induced inside the material, let us say major principal stress sigma 1. So here also the same principal stress has to be induced such that what is the magnitude of equivalent bending moment we need to apply. Is that clear? So that we are going to calculate. This is the basic definition. And what will be the use and observation, everything I am going to discuss. So to calculate equivalent bending moment, direct formula you need to know. That is given as half of m plus under root of m square plus d square. If you substitute directly, m as a 120 plus under root of 50 square plus 120 square. M as a 120, torque T as 50. So this thing you will get as 130 plus 120, 250 divided by 2. There you will get 125 Newton meter will be the correct answer. Just if you are able to remember this formula, easily we can calculate. Like this one of the gate question was asked. But in this analysis, I am going to discuss how this formula came and when we need to apply equivalent bending moment concept. Whenever the shaft is subjected to both the twisting moment and bending moment simultaneously, there equivalent bending moment as well as equivalent twisting moment concept coming to picture. But in this question, they asked the only equivalent bending moment. The formula will be this one. But how this formula came, that everything I am going to discuss. Before going to discuss this thing, there are some assumptions are required for this formula. Assumptions. So here the assumptions are the shaft should be made up of uniform diameter. they haven't given in the problem, but you need to assume it as the shaft is of uniform diameter. If it is having uniform diameter, then that can be called as prismatic bar or prismatic shaft. This term is very important. In another way, one more assumption also we can take. Whatever the loads that we apply, twisting moment, bending momentum, those are those are static loads. Static loads means the magnitude and direction not changes with respect to time. Then it can be called as static loads. Yes. Now, so case 1 I am taking, and this is the case 2. For case 1, because of the bending moment, if you look at the bending stress distribution, that seems to be like this. Bending stress distribution seems to be two similar triangles. Bending stress distribution. This magnitude is given as sigma, maximum bending stress. How to calculate? According to the bending moment equation, the formula for this is 32m divided by pi d cube. 32m divided by pi d cube. Two similar triangles, but keep it in mind, this is perpendicular to cross section plane. Bending stress. This is the bending stress distribution. That knowledge you need to know. Next, because of the twisting moment, if you look at the shear stress distribution, that is also seems to be same. Two similar triangles. Two similar triangles. Tough. The maximum shear stress, torsion and shear stress we can call it as. The formula to calculate this value is from turning moment equation we can calculate 16t by pi d cube. 16t divided by pi d cube. But keep it in mind, bending stress distribution is a perpendicular to cross section, whereas shear stress distribution is parallel to cross section. That is a basic difference between these two. So one is a perpendicular to the cross section, one is a parallel to the cross section. Look at from the side view. Now, if you have the state of stress of top point of the shaft, the top point I am considering, any point on the top fiber we can call it as. So this point is subjected to bending stress, that is in tensile manner, and shear stress. The representation I am giving like this. Tough. So keep it in mind, if the shear stress is in the form of clockwise, then complementary shear stress will occur, that is in anti-clockwise direction. So shear stresses are complementary in nature. Complementary in nature. So at a single point, it seems to be somewhat difficult to represent all these stresses. This is the reason why here we are assuming some cubical element. The state of stress I am drawing in 2D manner. So that point is subjected to sigma b, that is in tensile manner, and if this is clockwise, this should be anti-clockwise. Let us see if I am assuming that the cross-section plane is in xy, then the sigma b can also be written as sigma x, the tau can be written as tau xy. Tau xy, tau xy. Here there is no sigma y. So this is what exactly we can call it as state of stress. Stress representation. For example, if you take state of stress of any point on the bottom fiber, in 2D manner I am representing, only one plane I given. As we already know, the bottom fibers are subjected to compression, the top fibers are subjected to tension. Sigma b, sigma b. Let us say here I took shear stress distribution is in anti-clockwise direction. The complementary shear stress should be in clockwise direction. complementary shear stress. Complementary shear stress are offered by the material to maintain equilibrium. If anyone asked in the interview, then you need to say this word. Complementary shear stresses are produced by the material to maintain equilibrium. Now, according to the state of stress, if you want to calculate the major principal stress, the formula everyone knows, sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus under root of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy square. But here sigma y value is 0. Directly we can apply sigma x into sigma b plus under root of sigma b by 2 whole square plus tau xy square. Equation number 1. So this is for this shot. Let us take, if you take case 2, for case 2 only bending moment is there with the magnitude of ME. There if you draw the state of stress, either the bottom point or the top point, only normal stress will be there. There is no shear stress with the magnitude of sigma b. But how to calculate the sigma b? As we already know the formula, 32 ME will be the magnitude, 32 ME divided by pi dt. According to the state of stress, if you want to calculate the maximum stress inside the material, the formula we already know, but there is no sigma y value, there is no tau xy value. Then you will get sigma 1 as exactly sigma, that means 32 ME divided by pi dt. Equation number 2. As I discussed, for case 1, whatever the maximum stress which was induced, for the case 2 also, whatever the maximum stress that was induced, both should be same. Then only whatever the bending moment that we applied can be called as equivalent bending moment. Now, 1, 2, we can equate 32 ME divided by pi d cube is exactly equal to sigma b can be written as 32 M divided by 2 times of pi d cube plus under root of sigma b can be written as 32 M only divided by pi d cube multiplied by 2 whole square plus tau xy can be written as 16t divided by pi d cube whole square. Now, so 32 divided by 2 means 16. So here also 16. 16 divided by pi d cube. Common 16 divided by pi d cube and cancel out. Then you will get 2 times of ME is equal to M plus under root of M square plus T square. If you take this 2 into the right hand side, then equivalent bending moment formula you will get as half of M plus under root of M square plus T square. So this is the formula you need to remember if you are preparing for GATE examination. For GATE point of view, this formula is important, but for interview point of view, the total derivation should be remembered. The derivation has to be remembered. Now, what are the observations? Observations. So the first observation is, if the shaft is subjected to both bending moment and twisting moment simultaneously, then according to equivalent bending moment concept, directly we can calculate 32 ME divided by pi d cube should not be more than SYT divided by M. So this is according to maximum principal stress theory, one of the theory of failure. According to MPST, directly we can apply this formula here and we can calculate dimension, safe diameter of the shaft. So in a similar way, if you want to calculate equivalent twisting moment, the formula is given as M square plus T square. In any one of the question, I am going to prove this thing also. If you know equivalent twisting moment, directly we can calculate 16T divided by pi d cube should be less than or equal to SYS, shear yield strength, and this is tensile yield strength divided by M. So this is according to the maximum shear stress theory, MSST. So from this also we can calculate the safe diameter. For example, according to MPST, we calculate the safe diameter as 50 millimeter. According to MSST, we found the safe diameter as 100 millimeter. Now, what should be the safe diameter of the shaft? Most of the people, they will take it as 100. Some people, they can take it as 50. But which one is correct? Let us take, if you take 50 as your diameter, then according to MSST, the shaft is going to be failed. Because of the shear failure, it may going to be failed. According to shear, if you take 100 millimeter, that is safe condition. According to bending, if you take a 50 millimeter, that should be safe condition. But if you made the shaft with a 80 millimeter diameter, then according to MPST it is under safe, but according to MSST it is not under safe. So to make the both condition it should be safe, it should be more than 100 millimeter. With the more than 100 millimeter, according to MPST it is also safe, because 50 is enough. Minimum diameter should be 50. According to MSST, the minimum diameter should be 100 millimeter. So if you make more than 100, according to MSST also, that will be under safe condition. So clear? Like that, equivalent bending moment and equivalent twisting moment concepts are key. So whenever the shaft is subjected to equivalent bending moment and twisting moment, then there will be a concept of ME and TU. So these are the bending stress distribution, shear stress distribution. Then how to draw the state of stress, that also you need to know. These are the assumptions I consider just for this problem. And directly if you are able to remember this formula, directly you can calculate this value. A similar way, gate question is there, engineering services question is also there. But in this analysis I have discussed how this formula came. So this is the total derivation for that formula. These are the state of stress diagrams and definition. The definition is also very important. According to the definition we proved it now. These are the observations. What is the use of that ME? So this is the basic use of ME. No need to apply this total concept. Directly we can calculate ME and substitute in MPST, calculate the same diameter. No need to apply this entire analysis. Directly calculate TE by using this formula and apply MSST, we calculate the same diameter. So that will be the basic use of equivalent bending moment and twisting moment concept.